What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to share with you my level 90 Tempest Flurry Monk build. This build has great survivability, clear speed, and damage, making it a very well-rounded build. And it doesn't require any expensive unique items. This build can handle everything the game has to offer. Not to mention, it's a ton of fun to play overall. So I would say this is definitely an S tier build. I will go over everything in depth, and timestamps will be down below, so feel free to jump ahead at any time. At the end of the video, there will be a full tier 17 map clear along with the boss fight if you want to check that out. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below and I'll get back to you. Also, if you end up enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. My channel is quickly coming up on 15k subs and I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, let's get right into it. Alright, so starting off with the skills using the build, right here up top we have the quarterstaff strike. Don't worry about that, I just have extra gems in there, we don't use that. We have unbound avatar. This is from our ascendancy choice. Basically, this is going to give us a 10-second damage boost once in a while when we build it up, which it builds up really quickly. We use this on basically only bosses. We don't really need it mapping or anything like that. You can use it, but it gives you 40% more elemental damage. Right here we have Tempest Flurry. This is going to be our bread and butter of the build. As you see, I don't even have a 20 skill gem. We could be getting even more damage out of this, but I mean, we're doing a ton of damage overall. Every level that you go up with this, just know that it ramps your mana cost up quite a bit. And you can see right here we have 69 mana costs as it currently sits, and we have a lot of mana. And we also have stuff in the tree that helps us with mana as well, which we'll go over. Right here we go with concentrated effect, primal armament, martial tempo, inevitable critical, and heft. We want to be getting as much critical strikes as we possibly can, because also in our ascendancy the enemies have no resistance against critical strikes, so we want to be critting as often as possible. Right here, as it sits, we have a 72% chance to crit. Next up we go right here into Tempest Bell. Basically this is going to be laid down on bosses too, and it gives us a nice damage boost overall. We're going to throw in close combat, Font of Rage, and heavy swing. Font of Rage and Rage are just helping us build up to that 30 rage, which gives us a 30% multiplier to all of our damage. Next we have Charge Staff. We're going to be proccing this as often as possible. Basically this is going to give us more damage to our staff, and it gives us like a shockwave area of effect with our staff. And then we have Conduction in here, Overcharge, Energy Barrier, and Persistence. Now we'll go into our Heralds. We use Herald of Ice. Basically we're going to use this for clear. You're going to see that we're popping enemies all over the map. It's helping our clear by a ton. In here we're going to throw in Cold Infusion, Elemental Focus, Magnified Effect, and Shock Siphon. Down below that we have Herald of Thunder. This is giving us a bit of damage. Also we throw Lightning Infusion, Culling Strike, Neural Overload, and Electrocute. We have Neural Overload and Electrocute right here. When we electrocute enemies, that's what's going to be making it to where we have our power charges, and we need power charges to proc our charge staff. So we're constantly getting power charges by using Herald of Thunder with Electrocute on it. Right here we have Combat Frenzy. Now this is how you can see right here, gain a frenzy charge when you freeze, electrocute, or pin an enemy. So that's we're electrocuting with our Herald of Thunder, and that's giving us a frenzy charge in the passive tree. Anytime we get a frenzy charge, it's actually turned into a power charge because of one of the nodes that we take. So we're going to go Combat Frenzy, Profusion, and then Clarity right here. Next up for defense, we're going to take Wind Dancer. Basically this is going to boost overall our evasion. As you can see right now, our evasion rating is at 69%, which is awesome. In here we're going to throw Maim, Blind, and Wind Wave. This is just going to help out with our defense overall. Right here we have Mana Remnants. Now this is another thing that helps out with our mana. With this, anytime we kill an enemy, we have a chance every 2 seconds to have a little mana globe drop. Gives us 216 mana, which helps keep our mana topped off at all times so that we're not running out. That can be a pain in the butt. It even works against bosses, so it keeps our mana up. We don't have any issues with that. Down here we have Grim Feast. Basically we take these little things will drop when we kill enemies here and there, and it makes it to where we basically have Energy Shield Leech. For every one that drops we get 197 Energy Shield from the Grim Remnants right there, you can see. And we can overcap our energy shield. So while we're mapping, we have like 7,000 energy shield. So it's just keeping us to where we're capped off on energy shield at 7k like at all times. And that we have great survivability, especially in mapping with this. Alright, now we'll go ahead and jump into the gear. Really quickly, here's the stats over here. We have 2200 life, 3500 energy shield in mapping. Like I said, we have 7,000 because of Grim Feast. capped off resistances, almost capped on the chaos res. You want to try to get that up as well. And then yeah, the almost 70% evasion is really nice. Now as for the actual gear, when it comes to the weapon, you want to get a staff with as high physical damage as you possibly can, like the highest physical DPS. And then secondly, you want to get as high possible base crit chance as you can. You can see right there, I have 4.74. And then you can see that goes all the way up to possibly 5%. I think that's the highest roll you can get. So I have almost the highest roll. In my opinion, some people make the mistake of just going for the highest physical damage and not worrying about the crit chance at all. What you need to understand is that with this build, we get a lot of damage from our crit chance. This base crit chance right here of 16.24% is what we're going to get all of our gains in the passive tree. You know, they're going to be based off of this 16.24%. So, you know, we're just boosting this percent up overall. This is going to be our main, you know, source of base crit. So at the same time of getting a high DPS weapon, when it comes to the physical damage, you know, you want to get also a high base crit chance. So I'd try to like balance it out a little bit. You know, obviously I could have like a higher physical damage weapon. In a perfect world, you want to get the highest physical damage weapon with the highest crit chance possible. And that's going to be the most damage. But when you're shopping around, you know, for your staff, try to get like a happy medium of both of them. So with the helmet, you want to try to go with as much energy shield as you possibly can. I wouldn't go with any evasion. And the main reason is because we actually, right here in the amulet, you see we allocate subterfuge mask. And as you can see with this, you get 2 evasion rating for every 1 maximum energy shield. So we don't need to worry about evasion. With this allocated, we get a ton of evasion from this. So we're also getting like around 700 evasion, just under, from having this. So get as much energy shield as you can. And then right here, you know, try to get maximum life. You can get increased critical chance, which is nice on there. You can see I have 23%. Obviously get your resistances wherever you can on gear. Now into the amulet, like we talked about, you want to allocate subterfuge mask. Now, there's stuff that you can allocate to get, you know, more damage. But we're already doing good damage, and I like to have the survivability. This is boosting our evasion up quite a bit. So that's what I would go with on here. Try to get as much increased maximum energy shield as you possibly can. Try to get life. You know, we need a little bit of strength with the build. We definitely need intelligence. So that's why I have those. And then I have my resistances. If you're able to get damage, you know, on your amulet, depending on what amulet you get, that would be nice as well. Now into the body armor, we want to try to get as high evasion and as high energy shield as we possibly can. You'll see in our ascendancy, we get our spirit based off of our energy shield and evasion rating on our chest piece. We have 204 spirit. That's what's making it to where we're able to run all of the things that we're running. So yeah, high evasion, high energy shield. And then on here, you know, life, resistances, whatever you need for the build. Into the ring right here, I would try to go with the breach ring because, you know, you're definitely probably going to need like some intelligence or dexterity, just depending on what you take where. You know, you can get the physical damage to attacks, which is nice, giving us a damage boost. You know, I got the lightning damage, or you can get the flat lightning damage. You can get rarity, get your resistances. And then, you know, what's nice about the breach ring is that you can quality 50%. So you're boosting it up quite a bit. Now, when it comes to the gloves, you want to get, you know, just go flat energy shield. You could go with evasion too, but you can get a lot of energy shield right here in your gloves. And then, you know, try to get maximum life. Now you can get, you know, plus to level of melee skills, which is damage. You can get attack speed. You can get flat fizz. You can get all 3 of those even. Those gloves are going to be really expensive though. Try to get what you can though on the gloves. I would suggest attack speed even over like the +2 to the melee skills like I have. Because the +2 to melee skills is boosting up our mana cost of the actual skill. And I think with 16% attack speed, you're getting just as much added damage as you would from the +2 to melee skills. And you're not getting the extra mana cost, you know, and then also, you know, resistances if you need them. Into the bell right here, I would say go with life. Try to get mana. You definitely want to get mana also as many places as you can. We want to have a good mana pool because it costs so much to cast Tempest Flurry. Life, mana, resistances, chaos res if you need it, you know, whatever good stats you can get there. On your boots, try to get 30% movement speed. It's always good to be moving around quickly. And then I would go for evasion and energy shield on the boots. And then you can get like intelligence or dexterity, strength, whatever you need. Stat wise, you can get your resistances there. Try to get maximum life. Also on the sockets, you see, you know, I have socketed in for the 7% chaos res. That's what's bringing us up to the 64%. Now into our second ring, we'll talk about this really quick. The reason that we run this, you can see right there, enemies chilled by your hits can be shattered as though frozen. And we have cold damage in the build. You'll see we take cold damage in the tree, and it's getting boosted enough to where we're chilling enemies. And with the chill, we're making it to where they can be shattered. And with the Herald device, we're just, you know, blowing up the screen, blowing up enemies all over the maps. So that's why we take this ring right here. Really important for the build. Down here for the flasks, you know, just get a high life recovery flask right here. We rarely go into our life unless we take like a really savage blow, but we're not even using it that often. get a mana flask that gives you a ton of mana. We're not using this often as well, if ever, really. And then for your charm right here, I would go with the freeze immunity. That can be really annoying, so you don't want to get frozen. So definitely go for that on your charm. All right, now into the passive tree really quickly. So we have this allocated right here. As you can see though, it's a little bit expensive. It takes ire, suffering, and paranoia. It's, good defensively. If you didn't use that though, and you wanted like good damage for cheap, you can go right here with overwhelming strike. You get 20% crit chance, crit damage, and stun build up with crits. So that can be a nice option to go with, as far as for cheap. But yeah, into the passive tree really quickly with our ascendancy. Because of our ring, in order to chill enemies, we're going to run over here first and gain 10% of damage as extra cold damage on freezing enemies and create chilled ground. So you want to get that. And then also over here, we get 5% of damage as extra cold damage. So with that cold damage, that's enough to chill enemies to be proccing our ring. But yeah, go over here first. Secondly, I would say to come over here and get Sunder My Enemies. Critical hits ignore non-negative enemy monster elemental resistances. We're always critting, so we're completely negating enemy resistances, which is further boosting our damage quite a bit. Next, I would say come over here to Lead Me Through Grace. You can see right there, like I talked about in the gear section, gain 1 spirit for every 6 energy shield on your body armor and 1 for every 15 evasion. So that's, what's making it to where we have a total of 204 spirit overall. And you can get an even better chest than I have, boosting your spirit up even more if you wanted to. And then last, I would say come right down here into I Shall Rage. Gives you unbound avatar, like we talked about. This gives us a 40% boost to our elemental damage, ailment buildup, and chance to inflict ailments. Huge amount of damage overall. So yeah, starting out, you're going to run up here. We're going to grab Flow Like Water for attack speed. We're going to run over this way for some crit up here. We are going to go this way, and we're going to take energy shield and evasion. Over here, we get Mystic Stance. Now, faster start of our energy shield recharge, and also gives us some increased stun threshold. Like we talked about, we want to get Essence of the Mountain for the extra cold damage so that we're chilling enemies. Now over here, conservative casting. This is going to reduce the mana cost of our skills, making it to where, we're not having issues with mana. That's another way that really helps out with mana. Now, if you don't need that, you could get rid of this and put those 3 points into damage elsewhere. But I would definitely suggest taking this. We're going to come over here, get some attack speed. Over here, get some damage. Up here, some crit chance and damage. Over here, resonance. Now, see right there, gain power charges instead of frenzy charges. This is how when we gain our frenzy charge, it turns into a power charge and making it to where we can imbue our staff. So definitely want to have resonance. Up here, more attack speed and reduced cost of skills, which helps out a lot. Now we're going to run over here, get Spectral Ward. 1 to maximum energy shield per 12 evasion rating on equipped body armor. Into our first jewel. Now I have attack speed, attack damage with quarterstaves. This is a pure damage jewel. We have some jewels that are pure damage and some that are giving us energy shield. I have kind of a mixture between the two. Also, when it comes to the nodes, get dexterity or intelligence, just whatever you need, or maybe 1 or 2 strength ones on your small nodes here. Over here, we run for another jewel. Now, like I said, in this jewel socket, we have maximum energy shield, crit damage bonus, and then the faster start of the energy shield recharge. I would say at least get that on like 3 of your jewels so that your recharge starts quicker, like in boss fights and stuff like that. When you're mapping, we're using Grim Feast and we're just at like 7k shield at all times, so it doesn't really matter. But on bosses or whatever else, you want to have that energy shield recharge starting up pretty quickly. Right here, we get crit chance and damage. Over here, we're going to run down for 10% more maximum lightning damage. Right here, we get a bunch of damage. Down here, we're going to go to Whirling Assault for attack speed. There's a bunch of good stuff with the quarterstaves right here. Over here, get Martial Artistry. And then we're going to run over here to 1 with the Storm. Quarterstaff skills that consume power charges count as consuming an additional power charge. So anytime we imbue our staff, it's like we're using 2 charges, even if we have 1. I have another jewel right here, maximum energy shield, crit damage bonus, and the faster start to the energy shield recharge. We come over here, we're getting another one. I got dexterity on this, maximum energy shield. Don't worry about the chance to shock, but the faster start of the recharge as well. Over here, we're going to run this way. We get a ton of damage right over here. Now over here, we are running 2 heralds, so we're going to run out here and over here. We're getting, 50% increased cold and lightning damage. Over here, we get a ton of damage as well and crit chance. Down here, we have attack speed, attack damage, and damage with quarterstaves. Now you can see I have this one, another jewel that were pure damage, not really worrying about the energy shield. And then down here, we're going to get more attack damage and then Attacks have a 25% chance to maim on hit. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the tree. If you guys have any questions or comments, don't forget to let me know down below in the comments. I will get back to you. If there's anything that you would change or maybe that I forgot, also let me know down in the comments. There will be a link in the description to this build over on Mobalytics if you want to check it out that way. Also, right now there's going to be a tier 17 gameplay with the boss fight, so go ahead and stick around if you want to check that out. Anyways, thanks for watching.
Is there no limit to corruption's influence?